Today on the Molten Muffin Baking Show, we're going to be making aluminum muffins out of this old cable. It's aluminum cable.
Alright, here you see me taking a box cutter and cutting this aluminum cable. I'm wearing gloves. These gloves are not normal gloves. They're Kevlar gloves because, it's possible when you're stabbing box cutter into the side, the sheet, that you could slip and cut yourself. And so you want to have something safe. So I use Kevlar gloves. And then I'm cutting it up and removing it. So these cables are typically used for things like overhead transmission lines because aluminum has a better conductivity to weight ratio than copper. It's 60% of the conductivity of copper, but it has 30% of the weight. So I've got all chopped up, or not chopped up, now I'm chopping it up. And you can see that I am using bolt cutters to chop it up. And bolt cutters are nice because they can do a pretty good job of cutting through it. However, it is still a fairly brittle metal. And it compacts really well when it's a liquid. So I can get it where it's looking fairly full, but it's actually just a small fraction of the way full. So I can pack it down, but there's still tons and tons of space in there, as we'll see as I melt it down. So I take a stainless steel kiln with propane and I'm heating it up. And I could normally use a graphite poking stick, but graphite isn't as strong as steel. So I'm using a mild steel piece of rebar. It's a 3/8 inch. The aluminum comes off of the steel fairly easily, so it's not that bad. And as I let it warm up, it can kind of sit there and do its thing. But the aluminum takes a long time to melt. It has to get up to 1220 degrees Fahrenheit or 660 degrees Celsius before it melts, which is actually fairly high. It's higher than a lot of metals. A lot of low. It's kind of like a medium metal. It's not really high level and it's not really cold metal. But it melts at a lower temperature than things like copper and iron. So after it starts to melt, and I've stuffed a bunch of stuff in there, then it gets to the point where it's more of a liquid. You can see how it's packing down really well. Now it's in its liquid state, and I'm getting ready to pour it into my cast iron muffin tin. It's easy to get out of the cast iron, so I use that. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the propane and then take it out and pour it into the muffin tin. As I pour it out, you'll see that the aluminum is nice and pretty, shiny color, but it almost immediately starts to dull. You can see that it tends to oxidize right there, which is kind of like rusting, except it's not as bad. And aluminum oxidizes very, very quickly. Now, after you get these muffins, you can later take this and melt them down again to do casting with aluminum. It's kind of nice to cast with aluminum. It doesn't work good for forging, so you can just do casting. So it cools down to a solid level fairly quickly. It's still really hot, and it would burn you almost instantly if you were to touch it. But now we have our muffins. We have our nice, beautiful aluminum muffins. So if you like this video and you'd like to see more of them, go ahead and like and subscribe. And here are the aluminum muffins. Thanks for watching. And thank you for joining us on our Molten Muffin Baking Show.